Okay, the final section of blocks that we're going to discuss today are the custom Wake Forest University blocks. Now you can see that here on the available blocks page, and we're going to go out of order, but there is a purpose. Okay, so we're going to look at shortcode first. And I'm going to use this as an example to show you, while all of the non-Wake Forest blocks have the example at the top, all of the Wake Forest block examples have the example at the very bottom of the page, and you will see why in just a minute. So here's the shortcode block, some basic settings. There's not a really good example of this. That would be easy to show. So let's go to download files to give you an example. So download files, all of the custom blocks we've built here. Right here, you're going to have download files, an instructional video, more detail than I could possibly give you in this video, but it's right here. We made these videos custom to Wake Forest Solutions, so that's where you're going to want to go. At the bottom of the page, you're going to have an example of this is what the download file block does. So you have even more information because you'll have an instructional video, then the same detailed block settings, and then an example at the bottom of the page. So what does download file do? It allows you to pick a file from a drop down, and then that'll download to the user. So what does a shortcode do? Well, you're familiar with using shortcodes before, but now there's a shortcode block. So if we go to the bottom, I'll show you why this is important. Let's add a new heading, and we're going to call this Custom Blocks. Actually, we're going to call it WFU Custom Blocks. And then I'm going to change this heading to an H3. Check and make sure that that is the right layout. Yes, it is. Okay, and then I'm going to do shortcode. It'll look exactly like this. Inside this shortcode, you're going to put whatever the shortcode is. Usually a plugin will give you shortcode options. I know the Instagram feed has a shortcode option, and the reason that we have it here in a custom block because we've expanded the default to allow for wide and full width. This is important because if you have a beautiful Instagram feed you want to put on your page, you might want that to be the entire width of the screen to really just capture the beauty of your images. So you want to do a full width shortcode block. Now the other thing I want to make you aware of is sometimes you're going to come in here and it's going to look like this. And you're going to say, wait, where's my shortcode block? I've selected it in this list view, but I don't see it. I see it over here if I type something, but nothing appears. Oh, there it is. There's text. So when it comes to the WFU custom blocks, there are two modes. There's edit mode and there's view mode. So sometimes if you're in here and you see absolutely nothing on your screen, you're probably in view mode and there's nothing there to view yet. So just be mindful of that. If it doesn't appear but you're on it, check for that little pencil icon. You want to be in edit mode. Okay, so that's the shortcode block. The download files block. Next we're going to look at buttons. Buttons are very simple. They are buttons. Okay, you want to add a button to your site and you're going to have a couple options. The style options are going to be regular, expanded, which means full width, and small. Notice they're a little bit small. And then on your button, you have the option to add a link. And so I won't spend too much time on these because you can just go see them for yourself in the videos. But let's say I want to add buttons. It's going to start by giving me button orientation. So if I click up here, I'm going to say, ooh, I want an expanded button. Then I click the button itself. Ooh, I want an expanded gray button. And I want the button to say, if I click here, it says set button text here. So I'm going to select a link and I'm just going to say, let's link it to facebook.com, or I can pick any of my current pages open in a new tab, add link. Perfect. Okay, so I've got everything done except for the button text. I'm going to hit, look, edit. You can see how it switched the style. Okay, so set my button orientation, expanded, and then of course you see that there is no button text. So if I click here, I'm going to go back to my link because I did not set my Facebook link. I want to say update, and that becomes the button text. All right, update. So if I go to our example page here, I'm going to refresh it, and you're going to see there's my Facebook link. It's going to take me to Facebook, open in a new tab. Pretty self-explanatory there. All right, next, a little bit more complicated. We're going to look at accordions. Now, accordions just allow you to have accordion content. That is some header with blocks in the middle. And just like you're going to see here, you can put body text, or you can put actually any block. So here's an image inside of an accordion, and you can put even other, complex blocks inside of accordions if you want. Now, the great thing about this is if you watch the URL bar up here at the top of my screen, when I open an accordion, that URL actually changes. So if I want to link somebody, like let's say this is an FAQ page, and I want to link somebody to answer number 2, I copy this link. I'm going to close the page, open a new tab, paste that link, hit enter. It's going to take the user down to that FAQ answer and automatically open the accordion. Very intuitive. Okay, the back end of the accordion looks a little bit more complex. So, oops, I added another button, not an accordion. Let's try typing accordion. So you can do this a couple ways. Number 1, type accordion. Number 2, if you're like, I don't remember what we called it, but I know it was a WFU block. If you search WFU, all of our custom blocks are going to appear right here. That's a nice little hack for you. So when you open it, it's going to say set section 1 heading. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to say, oh, you need a heading. That's just going to be the title. So I'll just call this question and answer. Or no, better yet, let's just call this, is Gutenberg cool? And then I'm going to go down here underneath it. This is the content area, and I'm going to say yes. Yes, it is. And just to show you, we can put anything in here. So I'm going to say, let's add a image block inside of here. You know what? We didn't go over. I'm going to remove this. We didn't do gallery earlier. So let's look at a gallery. I'm going to add a gallery block. Choose from my media library. I'm just going to add, oh, look, all of these look cool. Let's just add some of these. All right, create gallery. So I've got all of these that I want to insert. I can set captions or remove captions, which is what I'm going to do here. Then I'm going to say insert. Yes, I want it to be a 3-column gallery. And I can even move pictures around, edit, or replace them all from here. All right, update. So let's go look at our page now. We're going to have that second button that I totally messed up and did nothing with. So it's going to link to nothing. We're back to the same page. Is Gutenberg cool? Yes. Yes, it is. Awesome. Well, now I have the second heading and I don't want it. What do? Go up to the second heading and remove. And there we go. We have a pretty pointless accordion because there's only one set of content in it, but that's okay. We'll allow it. All right. So that's the accordion block. Keep that in your mind. We're going to come back to it later. All right, the next block is the slider. So the slider block does exactly what you think it does. It adds a slider to your page. Now, there's not a lot going on behind the scenes here. So I'll just show you the options you have. You want to add a slider name. This isn't necessarily going to appear. It's just so that you know on the back end, hey, this slider is for, let's say, admissions. You know, it's really what we highlight. You can set your slide duration as low as 5 seconds per slide before it automatically slides, and then as many as 15. So I'm going to set this to 5, and then I'm going to need to click Add Slider Item. And here I can add an image, which I will do just for fun. Optionally, I can add a caption or a link to an external site that'll open in a new tab. And then I can add another image. And so let's add image number 2. This one's beautiful. And now we have 2 images in our slider. They kind of stack a little funky, but that's just on the back end. If we go to the front end and we look, everything works as expected. Now, you get that gray box because those are mismatched slider sizes. You want your images to be the same size. But what if you want to rearrange that? No problem. You go over here, click, drag. Now your slider is in a completely different order. What if you want to remove something? You click this little arrow right here, say remove, and now that's gone. So now we have a slider of 1. It's not really useful. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to remove the whole block, just so it doesn't take up too much space here as we look at the rest of these. All right, resized my window. All right, now these next couple are special because they all have, well, no, I lied to you. We've got one more, university events. You might know this by its other name, Localist. This just pulls from a live feed from events.wfu.edu, so you can add events to your web page. Here's an example. So obviously you can sort by department, you can sort by category, you can decide, hey, I want to pull in all of the images or no images. I want to pull the descriptions, the location, no location, the time, no time. So it's very fully functional and it gives you a lot of options that we go over right here, all the different things that you can do with that. Okay, now the next couple blocks are going to be a little bit different because they allow you to, or they allow, yes, but they also require you to add more information to your site before the blocks will work. Okay, so number 1 is announcements. So we're going to be looking at announcements, department events, and a staff list. Each one of those require you to put in a custom post type so that they will appear. So if you look over here to the left of the screen, you see pages. Pages is a post type in WordPress. Posts is a post type, and media is a post type. So just think we've added more options. So you have options for announcements, you have options for department events, and you have options for staff. Now each of these are going to have their own fields. So if I go to announcements, you see I've got 2 announcements. Gutenberg is not ready, Gutenberg is ready. If I wanted to add a new announcement, there's a button at the top that says add new announcement. But just for fun, let's click on Gutenberg is ready and I'll show you. So each announcement or each custom post type is going to have options, and the announcement one has when to publish to the website, when to take down from the website, a description of your announcement, and then the detail page. So what does that look like on the front end? Well, once we have announcements in our custom post type, you can add this to any page. So I'm going to show you an example of all 3 together. Let's go 33, 33, 33. And then I'm just going to call this heading. And we're going to say announcements. That's going to be really big. So I already know that we're going to have to go, is H4 what we want? Yes, it is. Announcements, but I'm going to select the full column row, and I'm going to make this wide aligned, and then I'm going to select each of these inside, and I'm going to make the column with a gray background. And that's going to equalize the heights, remember. So I'm going to do announcements. Give me an underline with that header. And then I'm going to leave this open for a while. So then I'm just going to type /announcements. So it's going to give me, oh, here's the block title, announcements. I'm just going to call this WP News. And then I'm going to add an announcement. And I'm going to select, oh, you see this big red error message? It's telling me, hey, nothing you've selected is in the date range of showing up on your site. Okay, well, that's because I haven't selected anything. So let's do Gutenberg is not ready. It's like, oh, here, this would show up, except here's big red text. This isn't going to show up because it's not in the right time range. Okay, so let me add another announcement. How about Gutenberg is ready? Good. So this is what it looks like on the back end. Hey, this is not going to work the way you think it's going to work. Great. I'm going to get rid of WP News. I don't really like that text there. Only this one's going to show. All right. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, oops, heading. And we're going to call this heading Department Events. And this is going to actually do the exact same thing. It's going to take the department events and add them to the site. What is my block title? I want it to be nothing. Number of events, I'm going to say 5, but I don't have 5 events. I only have 1 event, and it's an example event. And then finally, over here, I'm going to do another heading, and my heading is going to be staff list. Okay, of course, we want this to be a heading 4, and this is really going to bug me. I got to put a dot there. I'm technically an English major, so that would have kept me up at night. All right, staff list, and underneath staff list, I'm going to do the staff list block. And the staff list block makes me choose, okay, do you want to add individual staff members or do you want to add staff members from a category? So I'm going to hop over here real quick just to show you what that looks like. I've got some example staff members here. Of course, I am in the AIT team, so they're all Star Wars related. So if we go to Anakin Skywalker, I've got some of his information in here. And if I look to the right, I've categorized Anakin as both a Jedi and a Sith, which is technically accurate. Okay, that's the categories. So if I'm on this page and I'm like, man, I want to highlight my employee of the month, I can come here, I can say add staff member, add Anakin Skywalker, he's the employee of the month. Okay, or let's say I don't want to add the employee of the month. I want to say this is all of our IT team. I'm going to go to categories, and I can pick a category of staff to add. So I'm going to say, man, show me all of the Jedi. All right, so now we've got all 3 blocks that are custom post types. Remember, you've got to add them over here for them to show up on the block itself. So I'm going to click Update. Then we're going to go to our page, and we're going to see what it looks like. Ah, look at that. We've scrunched it too much, but that's okay because you get the idea. All 3 columns have equalized heights. We've got 1 announcement, 1 department event, and 2 staff members. Now, if I click on the Gutenberg is ready, it's going to take me to that individual post. So you can have all your event details here, all your announcement details there, or I can say I want to see all announcements, and it's going to take me to the upcoming announcements overview page where I would be able to see all the live announcements. Remember, there were 2, but one of them's out of date, so it doesn't even show up here. Okay? Or I can go see all department events, and it would show me all the department events that are current on the site. Okay, now for our last trick, here's what we're going to do. We're going to remove these columns, and we're going to look at the staff list accordion. So it's not a block, but it's a combination of blocks. So a lot of people want to have a staff list broken up on a single page. The UA website does this. So if I go to the accordion block, I want to pull all my Jedi, and then I'm going to, in here, say I want my staff list. So if you look here, it's just an accordion block with a section with a staff list inside. Category, I want my category to be Jedi. And then down here for heading 2, I'm going to call this Sith. The block is going to be another staff list. Category, and the category is going to be Sith. Now if I say update, go to our page, refresh. Now you see our staff list accordion. So we have Jedi. If I click Jedi, it's going to show you everybody who's been classified as a Jedi. Then if I click Sith, it's going to show you everybody who's been classified as a Sith. And you could say, man, that's great, but this Jedi, I really want it to show in the opposite order. I want Anakin, then Luke. The only way to accomplish that would be to add individual users and then put Anakin on top of Luke Skywalker. So while the category is really great, if you're like, I really need it to be in a specific order, then you might want to consider adding individual users. Okay, that is all. I know that was a lot, but that is all for the blocks. The next section, we're going to go over the differences between the main foundation theme, like how to set up your menu and how to add a featured image. That's all different now in Gutenberg. So you're done with blocks. You know enough to be dangerous. You at least know what you don't know, and you know how to find what you need to know. Go to the available blocks page on the WordPress site.